All right, guys, do I have something for you here? I'm sure those of you in Coney, Misty, YBit, you crypto fans, we had an exciting day. So let me get to the details. Wow is all I can say. So good, a little bad, just a little explaining, but overall very positive. So what happened on Monday? Well, we all know the political event, um, what happened to Donald Trump. So without getting into any politics, you'll never hear that from me. But we do know that crypto has been positively mentioned by some of the campaign. So I think what transpired also helped us, but it looked like even before that that we were trending up with the German sell-off having been complete. But let's just go with what happened. So we had a 15.36 rise in MSTR. Now, just to tone that a little bit, Coney was up 11 something percent. I don't have it right in front of me, but I looked at the chart a minute ago. So I think the outsized move in MSTR, it just has to do with their split announcement. As you saw my video, and those of you that didn't probably want to go out, I just put that out a day or two ago on MSTR. What can you expect? And then relative to Misty, right? Because with Misty, technically, it does absolutely nothing, right? Misty's price stays the same. They don't own any MSTR, but the reality is their options that the Zega Financial people are doing on MSTR for the Misty account, those just get reset. Whatever the contract amount, it gets, 10 times and the price gets cut by 1/10. So that's just a math situation for them. Doesn't affect you and I as Misty owners. Okay. But it does affect MSTR and that extra 4%. I'm going to do YBit later, but let me check. Um, and remember, since these are capped, oh, actually, so what I need to do is look at BITO, right? That's going to tell me the actual percentage on those. And so BITO was up 9.84. So call it 10, 11, and 15. So that's what we have going on there. That was a big move up. All right, let's get into the details. So what did Misty do? Well, rightfully so. Misty was severely capped and only went up 5.21. So it is reasonable at times to say the underperformance of an income fund like this can get capped. Now, if they had written 15% out of the money, it wouldn't be as bad, but I faulted them and knocked them for their execution last week, and rightfully so. They really messed up. On here, they did, kind of nothing wrong. I would have liked to have seen them ladder a little bit instead of putting all the 2,535 contracts, which I'll show you in a minute, in one strike price. They could have written another one, but remember, there's script in these income funds, and it is a script. It ties into their prospectus. They tell us what they're going to do before they do it, and they kind of stick to the script. Now, however, if they poorly execute that strip with risk management, that's when I call them out. I don't call them out just for something like today. It would have been nice if it was 7 or 8% out of the money and maybe they laddered an additional piece. But honestly, what happens is they're oftentimes looking in the rearview mirror. The volatility's not there, and then all of a sudden the volatility takes off. It's if any of you follow my GDXY, it's exactly what I've been talking about. They're writing these tiny little, on the underlying, and then all of a sudden it takes off. Well, duh. I could see that it was going to take off, and it's prone to that. And It's frustrating, but remember, when you own an income fund, you're getting income, and that's their priority. So, we can beat them up at times for poor execution, but we can't beat them up for doing what their script says and what their prospectus says and what we invested in. So I want to clarify that. Okay. So here we are, 15% run up. We got five. Okay. So let's dial in. Now, they had 550,000 shares bought. They didn't deploy that money. And that's probably smart, to be honest. They want to kind of see what the situation's going to unfold this week and how strong. Is this a continued move up? Then maybe they wait till tomorrow or Wednesday to deploy some of this capital. And I sort of agree with a wait and see on that. Let me explain that further. All right. Let's jump into the weeklies. So here's our infamous capping situation, right? We wrote all the contracts out at 1455. Now, I put this in here for you guys to be able to see. And it simply says when they wrote that last week, it was 4.17% out of the money. Well, even their own prospectus says they'll write calls 5 to 15% out of the money. And even the people that hit these income funds and say they can't keep up, they're capped at 15%. Well, first off, their logic's wrong because it's per week, and they say it like they're capped at 15% of the upside period. They should say per week. And the reality, when they're not as volatile and they're just kind of moving along and going nowhere, then writing a 4 or 5% out of the money almost means they're going to collect that income every week. But your synthetic doesn't make you any money. Okay. So I'm really going to dial into that for you guys. So here's where we are, right? We were up, volatility is up. Okay, this was the old chart of the daily chart, so you can ignore it. So I just wanted to show you how badly we got run by. Again, I'm not blaming the fund managers. I really am not. They can't be playing the market every single day and anticipating things and changing it up. Okay, so I'm not banging on them. I'm just reporting numerically where we are. Okay, Bruce, get to it. You got it. All right. So let's take it a step further and jump into the holdings because this tells you everything, guys. I laid it out for you. I had a lot in my Discord of conversation, and honestly, I didn't have time, guys. I'm doing a ton of videos every day, so I can answer, but I can't go into great detail because I need to make this, and this is why I wanted to get it out early. So you had 2,535. Oh, sorry, this is synthetics. Okay, I'm going to jump into the detail. So on our synthetic, let's talk about that first. The good news, right? So we jumped from having a $37.3 million loss in our 1550. And guys, that was going to expire this Friday on 7/19 and will expire, right? And so we went from being underneath that to all the way up to 16, 11, 16, 16. What was the number? 16. Yeah, 16, 11. Okay. So we were up from 37 down. Here's my chart, right? You can see it here. This is what we've been doing in our synthetic, losing 60, losing 47 to only losing 37 to being up 15. Okay. So the synthetic, which is just how you go long on MSTR without buying the stock, because you can't buy the stock. These funds are restricted from owning the underlying because no ETF by definition can have more than 10% of their money deployed in a single stock. So they just choose not to buy the stock and go long the stock through synthetics and write a naked covered call, which they call a covered call strategy, to then produce additional income if the stock doesn't roar in a bull market, right? But when it roars in a bull market, you tend to lose on that, but you still make the money in the synthetic. Well, when you go way past it like this, it's like a balancing act. You're about even. but I'll show you how we can still win a little bit. Okay, so the synthetic did its job. We owned MSTR, and MSTR through the synthetic inside Misty did a great job. How could it not, right? We're long a call and we're short a put. The call goes up and the put goes down. Guys, we stand to gain. Let me go through the numbers for you. Okay. Education, education, education. So if we stay above 1550 this Friday, we'll make another 8.8 million just because this will go to zero. You know, we'll buy it back for 3 or 4 cents and we'll roll into something else come Friday. But that's predicated on it staying above 1550 in MSTR, which it sure looks like that right now. So that is terrific. And this number will stay exact. This will go down if we go down from 1611, but this will also drop, right? So one way or another, any more upside, we're going to continue to make it, but our call out there that's capped is going to get capped worse. So the other thing I wanted to show you is here's the situation. It's the 1455. Let me do the math for you. So we collected 11.154 million. That shows in our payout tab and our piggy bank, right? We got 11.1. Right now, we would have to spend 42.3 million to buy that back. So we got 11, we're going to lose the 11 and we're going to spend 42, right? So we're pretty close in what the synthetic did and what we lost. But I will point out that 151 of the sorry, so 16, yeah, it's a math there. So of that 167, how much is still the 4-day premium left? Well, you simply do the math and you say, okay, we're at 1611, take away 1455, and you end up with 151. Okay, 45 and 11 is 56. So you have 16 points that are still, let me just, make sure, right, equals 1616 minus 1455. Yeah, 160, okay, 161. So I take that back. Whoops, it's 1611 though. 156. Okay, so it's 11 here, which is like 3 million. So I just wanted you to know that of this situation, right? And I can run down here and do that math. 2.78. I'm going to call it 3 million. It's 2.8. Okay. So what you have is 3 million more in pure time decay that I'm trying to show you what can happen on Friday. So let's say we just fast forward, we go up and down, and on Friday we're at 1611. Okay, they're going to buy that back for the 42 million, except it really won't be 42 million. It'll be 2.8 million less, right? So that's how much of that number. So that would make this 156. Sorry about that, guys. Just a lot of math here and rushing to get this out tonight for you guys. So we'll gain a little bit more, and this call will drop a little if we stay at 1611 just with its time decay, but it'll still be the amount over, right? That, but this is what's nice. You get the extra on the put. So I wanted you to know the math and see it. And this starts to illustrate exactly what capping. So if you're a big bull on BTC and you love getting the income from Misty and you want to do something else, you can always go out and buy one of these BTC Pro shares, 2X or something like that. There are ways, there's all kinds of ways, and I can get into that if you want it. in another future video. I don't want this to go forever, but there's a lot of ways to say, hey, I want the income. I'm on fixed income and I need it, but I also want to participate in the gains. That's why I always say these income funds are great. But people that just throw everything into them, they get frustrated when they're not producing the big income. And this is a classic example of BTC roared yesterday, right? And so did most of the funds, 10, 11, and 15%. And MSTR, because of its split announcement, did even better. But it always tends to have a little bit of premium because of Michael Saylor and the way he runs that company. And they're the largest corporate holder of Bitcoin. So I'll go over a couple of minor other things. So there's the 550, there's 3.95. We closed at 2805 and 2802 is fair value. So nothing wrong there. Now, actually on the holdings, nothing changes. Or sorry, guys, on the payout. So we're still in the same situation. Now, that's going to radically change when we put new orders on or we're forced to buy back, right? So then if we're forced to buy back, you're going to take the hit here and this guy is going to gain. At the end of the day, you don't care. So I'd say we're slightly above even on the day, but not radically, right? But if we can get to $2 here, that's a big, big win for Misty. Again, and I'm sure we will, because remember, by waiting, they're probably waiting another day to see how Bitcoin does. Let me check in the aftermarket. Okay, of what's going on. I'm seeing 65,005. So that's continuing to look pretty darn good, guys. Um, I'll take one look at the inner day, right? So that's what I got for you, and I wanted to get this out into your hands and let you have it because a lot of questions on it, and hopefully this really, really helped. Okay, guys, again, this is not financial advice. Um, I'm not a financial advisor. Okay, yeah, this continued up from, up into the high 64s. I'm seeing 64,950. Okay, guys, not a financial advisor. It's not financial advice. Have a great evening and let's keep running with Bitcoin and these Bitcoin oriented stocks. And in general, everything was pretty good. Okay, bye for now.